Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa. This is your youthful and educational platform where we have conversations with and about children and youth in Africa, and we are here to inspire the current generation of leaders. Do stay tuned to the very end as I give you updates on braces. I've done two videos before on braces. One was about where you can get braces in Nairobi, in Kenya, and the cost. And the other video was on the process of getting braces. So now I'm giving you updates on how the braces work. And this is my personal experience. It works differently for different people. First thing, a lot of people keep asking me on the cost. I've done a video on that, but I'll mention it again. It depends on the hospital and also depends on the procedure. When I was looking up different orthodontists, because I was very clear on looking up for an orthodontist, there's a difference between an orthodontist and a dentist. A dentist is like a general doctor. An orthodontist is a specialized doctor, is a specialized dentist, like a cardiologist or something. They specialize on braces. Yeah. So when I looked up the different hospital, I checked from Kenyatta National Hospital to University of Nairobi Dental School to Aga Khan to I think I checked also the Nelson Awori Medical Center. I checked different places, and what I got as a cost estimate is that it is between 160,000 Kenya shillings to 300,000 Kenya shillings, depending on the treatment you get, depending on the place where you get your treatment, and depending on how long you have them. So all those factors vary. I've heard of people doing it for less, like 80,000, but I can't speak for that cost. To be honest, I cannot speak for that cost. I can only speak for the cost that I have done my own research, and I have also asked other people on their experiences. So they're different scenarios, yeah? So just make sure that you're being treated by an orthodontist. That's the first thing you need to be 100% sure. Make sure your doctor is an orthodontist. Please do make sure that. So the first update, if you watch my very first videos, the very first videos on this channel, you will notice that my canine over here, my right canine used to be really at the, I don't know how to explain it. It was down here. It sort of had grown from like outside of the gums from below, and then this incisor was growing from behind, and then there were many other issues. My two front teeth, I think they were sort of overlapping, then these two were sort of like slanted this way. So my teeth didn't have like a complete major problem, not completely, but of course they were still overcrowded. I still had issues with overcrowding, especially on the lower jaw. So the first thing that we did with the orthodontist when I went is that she put the braces on the upper jaw, and then 2 weeks later she put the braces on the lower jaw just to give me time to adjust. For other people, they are given braces both the upper and the lower jaw, and I'm usually like, how did you manage that? Because it took me forever to adjust. It took me forever to adjust. So then they put, of course, they put the braces. You can see that these are brackets. There are different types of braces, by the way, but these ones that I have are metallic. These are the most common, I believe. Yeah, so they're metallic, then they put the wires. So what she said is that we have to give my teeth time to see if they're going to adjust properly on their own within the available space that was there. And in case they didn't, then she would know what to do. So like, for example, in my lower jaw, one of my, what do they call these first teeth that are not canines? I think they're called premolars. Yeah, so one of my premolars was sort of inverted. I didn't even know that. I was so shocked. I did biology in high school and used to study the shapes of teeth, and I never noticed that. So one of my premolars was inverted. So what she wanted to do was to rotate it so that it would face the proper side. So it's like it was facing the other side, the wrong side, so she wanted to invert it and sort of allow it to face the proper side. But it got to a point whereby now there was no more space to do anything, and now we were getting to the place that I dreaded the most, the places that I had just had stories, and I was like, no, I am not doing that, I am not doing that. And now this was the point of extraction. Extraction is basically pulling out your teeth so that other teeth have enough space to move. And I remember before I got to the orthodontist, I had gone to a dentist. So this was before I knew there was a difference between a dentist and an orthodontist. And when he was doing the evaluation, he was like, there's no other way. Then he even started explaining to me, like with chairs, he was like, if you have 2 chairs and you want this chair to be in this position, you have to remove that chair so that this chair can be in that position. And basically that was it. So I had to do an extraction. So when they're extracting, the orthodontist is the one who will advise on what teeth need to be extracted. I'm not an orthodontist, but what I know is a rule of thumb is that they never extract the incisors. Incisors are the front teeth, you know, and the canines. Those ones are never ever extracted. One, the canines mark the corners of your mouth. So let's say, for example, I know a lot of people have canines that grow from up here. I had my lower one grow from here, but it wasn't visible because it was on the lower side of the mouth, so people wouldn't notice it. But I'm sure if it was on the top, I'm sure people would be able to see it. So if you have canines that are growing from here, and you're really scared because maybe people have told you, oh, you know, when you go to when you get braces, they're going to have to remove them. They will never pull out your canines. I can tell you for sure, they'll never pull out your canines. What they will do is that they'll do their orthodontist things and make sure that your canines are at the right place. So those ones will never be pulled out, either from the top or the bottom. What they do pull out is the molars or the premolars. So your orthodontist is the one who will assess the space that you have in your mouth. Remember, I told you in those other 2 videos, you'll have to do like an x-ray. They'll have to check what space you have. They'll do their mathematics and see. So they will be the ones who determine what teeth need to be pulled out based on how you smile, based on the curve of your mouth, based on all those orthodontics things that they look at. I'm not an orthodontist, so I cannot tell you what they look at exactly, but yes, they will be the ones to determine. So in my case, what was determined is that they would pull out the second premolar, and what they were explaining to me is that if they pull out the second premolar, which is like, it's sort of like the second premolar here, it would be easier to push my teeth backwards as compared to removing the last teeth over here and pushing everything to the very end. So basically that is the simple explanation that I was given. Now, to give your mouth balance, they can't remove like 1 tooth here and now leave the rest of the mouth. Your teeth must be balanced. Remember, when you're looking at your face, and if you're a woman, if you're a girl, you know, when they go to the salon, like for example, you see like, the way I have this, they have these lines on my head. When they're doing this midline, they always check whether it's aligned to my face like this. At least I see the salonist trying to bend my head and trying to see if both sides of the head balance. And I know even when you're combing your hair, you normally check that. So it's the same thing for your teeth. They'll check the midpoint of your teeth here. The midpoint of your teeth, which is somewhere here, the incisors. Then they'll try and make sure that this side and this side is balanced. If you've seen, there are some people who usually look like their teeth are on one side compared to the other, and it's because their teeth just grew that way and their teeth are not like aligned at the center. So that's what they usually look at. So when they extract, at least in my case, how it was explained is that they have to extract both sides. So if they extract the second premolar here, they have to extract the second premolar here, so that when they're adjusting, they adjust symmetrically. Yeah, so you need to understand that. People have had more teeth removed. People have had all sorts of procedures done. I know there are people who get spacers. Let me tell you, don't listen to so many people's stories. Even mine is not. Mine will not be a complete reflection of your journey. Everybody has a different journey. So I remember when I went to do the extraction was done around the same time. So they extracted one side one day, then I think I waited for 2 days, then they extracted the other side. Hey, I'm telling you guys, it was not funny. It was not funny at all. Not funny at all. I remember I came from the office, went to the orthodontist. They put a needle there, removed. Oh my God, guys, removing permanent teeth is not easy. You know, even when they've put the anesthetic, you still feel like you're whole. And then when they put the anesthetic, the funny thing is that you don't feel pain in the tooth they're removing. You feel pain in the rest of the body. At least that was me. So they extracted, and after they did that, I just came back home and slept, and 2 days later it was the other side. So after they did that, now they said now we are ready now to start adjusting the teeth properly, and that's when now I had space. So once you extract your teeth, the first few days you won't even be able to eat. Trust me, I was so shocked that I was feeding on ice cream and yogurt. Guys, these are things for rich people. I was like, how do people eat ice cream and yogurt before they get to bed? Like normal people eat ugali and some vegetables and sometimes some meat, some chicken, some fish there, or maybe some rice. But nobody eats ice cream for supper. Nobody eats ice cream for dinner. Guys, that is what I had to do because I could not eat anything. I couldn't eat anything. And I remember when they first did the extractions, I also couldn't brush my teeth. So that was like, what do I do? Because also I couldn't rinse my mouth with what they call it, mouthwash. I couldn't rinse my mouth with mouthwash, and I couldn't brush my teeth because remember when you bleed, your body has to clot that part so that it heals. So the thing was that if I brush or if I do anything rough, that clot will come out and then now the bleeding will start again. So that was the thing. So I was eating ice cream. I think like the first 3-4 days I was eating ice cream and yogurt and not brushing my teeth. Oh my God. And then also you need to also check on this because this was a lesson I learned the hard way. When they extract your teeth, I do not know about other hospitals, but where I was extracted, whether I take my treatment, they gave me antibiotics for my teeth. Now, when I was filling the medical forms, just before I started my treatment at that place, they asked a lot of questions. And there was this place they asked, are you allergic to any medicines? So by then, I wasn't allergic to anything. Doctors ask that all the time. And by then, I wasn't allergic, or that's what I knew. But I didn't know that my history of there's this thing called stomach acidity. When you eat food that is not washed properly, you're going to get stomach problems. So I had those issues, and those issues are usually triggered by lots of things. And now I didn't know that there's some medicines that contain something that makes your stomach acidic. So after the extraction, they gave me medicine because when I filled the form, I didn't know I was allergic to anything. I'm telling you guys, I think 3-4 days after both extractions, I started feeling sick. And I remember the moment I got sick is when I took the medicine. So I was like, it has to be the medicine. Oh my goodness. I just knew it. The way you just know, because that is the only different thing I had taken that week. So I went to the hospital. I went with the medicine that I had been given at the orthodontist. And then, of course, now when I was explaining how I'm feeling, they asked me, are you allergic to any medicine? Then I was like, I'm not so sure, but I've been taking this medicine. And the moment I started taking, I started feeling sick. So when they checked, of course, now they also compared. Now this is now the medical doctor, not the orthodontist. Now when they compared, of course, they saw I have a history of acidity, and I was taking medicine that triggers acidity. Oh my God, guys. Don't make that mistake. Don't make that mistake. Sometimes you might be like, sometimes your brain doesn't connect. You're going to the orthodontist and you're not thinking how that relates to the general well-being of your body. Please make sure that your mouth is also coordinating with your body. Make sure of that. Make sure of that. Be 100% sure. Whatever medicine you're given out at the orthodontist, make sure that you're also sure that it does not affect the rest of your body. That is a mistake I made, and it is a lesson learned. So anyway, luckily they said the medicine I was taking was the problem, so they told me to stop taking it. And then now they gave me treatment for the acidity, and that was a lesson learned. So these days, whenever I go to the hospital, I always mention any medicine that will cause acidity, do not give me. And I have been okay for the last 2 years. I have not had any problems. So just make sure the medicine that you take or whatever is put in your mouth at the orthodontist does not affect the general well-being of your body. That is something you need to be sure of, because your mouth is also part of your body. So make sure your general health and your mouth coordinates. Please do make sure of that. Once I had the extractions done, now they put back the wires. So the wires, what you might not know is that these wires, I don't know if you can see, there are wires here. These wires, they usually change and they vary. Whenever I go to the hospital, they call this, what, I don't know, 3-2. They usually use all these medical terms. You know, they do surgery at the hospital, then the doctors say pliers. Do they use pliers in the medicine room? Okay, let me not go to the hospital, guys. Let me not go to the hospital. Let me talk about a field I am familiar with. When you go to court, they'll mention the civil procedure code, criminal procedure code. They'll mention different acts. So that's the same thing when you're at the orthodontist. There are wires for different things depending on what your orthodontist wants to do. So once the extractions were done, they put wires that were now supposed to help my teeth stay in place as my gums were healing. So they were moving just a little, but also staying in place. Because remember, after they remove the teeth, now your other teeth will be like, wow, now we have space. Let's start moving. And if you're not careful, your teeth will move everywhere. So they put wires to just coordinate the movement of your teeth. So this was June of July. We are in 2021, so this was 2019, I think August. Yeah, I think it was August or late July. That's when I had the extractions. So for the last year and a half, what we have been doing is closing gaps. So I've been going to the orthodontist every other 2 to 6 weeks. So sometimes I go after 2 weeks, sometimes I go after 3 weeks, sometimes after 4 weeks, sometimes after 6 weeks, depending on what is needed to be done. And all they've been doing is changing wires. For the longest time, we were just changing wires. And it got to a point I was just like, no, this is too much. Until one day, I just looked at myself and I was like, wait, my mouth looks different. My mouth looks different. So that was exciting. I was like, okay, we're moving somewhere. So I saw my canine going into place, my incisors going into place. I just saw things happening. So that's what we've been doing for the longest time. Literally, we've just been moving slowly. And my God, guys, it is a painfully slow process. Every time I kept looking at the gap, the extraction was just like, these gaps are never going to close. And I'm usually so afraid of that. And then every time I think of how I have 4 less teeth, it stresses me sometimes. And I'm just like, okay, we're moving. So then I believe this was almost late last year. The orthodontist said that I need to, what did she want to do? I think she wanted to align my jaws or something like that. Yeah, aligning my jaws and my teeth. So what she did is she gave me rubber bands. Probably you've seen some people wearing rubber bands. I have them here. Yeah, they're just small rubber bands. And normally I would put them in my teeth so that when I talk, they sort of regulate. So they're very tiny. This is how the rubber bands look. So don't have so much pressure if you see some people with rubber bands and you don't have rubber bands. It really depends on your treatment. It does not work the same way for everyone. So I got these rubber bands later on in my treatment. So what I used to do is I used to wear it on my third premolar here. Then I'd connect it to my first incisor. No, not my first incisor, my canine, yeah. So when you wear, that's how it looks. I show you. Yeah, that's how it looks. So same thing for the other side. I can't wear them for long because I've stopped wearing them. So that's how I used to put them on. Yeah, and basically I was required to have them on all the time except when I was eating, and it was hilarious. Sometimes I'd wake up in the morning and then you're there yawning and then they just snap. Sometimes they would snap out of my mouth. I'm like, oh, what's happening? And then I'd remember I'm wearing rubber bands. So that was kind of a hilarious time. So they say that this help your jaws to be aligned. See, it helps your mouth to be like this, sort of aligned. So she said if she discovers that I need it again, then I'll wear the rubber bands again. But so far, I think I had them for a couple of months, then I stopped wearing them. So right now I'm not using them. So when I stopped, they put other wires. So in between, they keep changing the wires. Your treatment varies depending on who you are, depending on your body. So it got to a point now, we got now to the tough part. We're now closing the gaps. This is where we are in my treatment procedure. And now they put these things called power chains. Let me try and move closely. If you can check my teeth here at the lower part of the brackets, there's a rubber band here. So it stretches from the back of my mouth to this side and goes above the brackets here on the front teeth and on also the top teeth below the brackets, and stretches all the way back. I don't know if you can see it. It's like whitish or grayish, but sometimes now when I eat, it just changes color. So the other day, I do not know what I ate, but it was something for vitamin C, and then they turned yellow. So I've been having yellow power chains for the last 2 weeks. But I'm just like, okay, we keep moving regardless. So that's what they've put. So these power chains are very strong. They're very strong. The first week they put them, they changed the wires. I think they changed the wires. They put tighter wires, and then now they put the power chains. Let me tell you guys, I did not eat for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. 2 weeks. It was so painful. It used to be so... There was a time I was like, no, I'm going crazy. Like, I could feel it here. And it's not that pain that it's not the pain that will kill you, but it's just uncomfortable pain. Let me say it's manageable pain, but very, very uncomfortable. Like, I was going crazy. But after they put the power chains the first time, I think they've not changed the wires, because they tried to change the wires and they were too tight for my mouth, so they didn't change them, I think. Yeah, I think they didn't change them. So many things have happened. Yeah, but now I've been going to change my power chains every 2 to 3 weeks, because these power chains, they're basically elastics. What happens after a period of time is that they lose elasticity. Like any other rubber band, they lose elasticity. They change color, like I've told you. And also, because they're so attached to your teeth and your mouth, they also collect dirt in the form of food. So when you eat, sometimes when you brush, it doesn't remove all the food and all that. So they have to keep changing so that you have clean, fresh power chains that are working in your mouth. Yeah. So that is where we are right now. And I cannot tell you how long this will take. I am just being patient. What I have been reassured is that bigger gaps have been closed with power chains and with braces, so I will be fine. So that is what I am holding on to here. Yeah, that's what I'm holding on to. Yeah, so we're moving. I had gotten to a point where I had accepted my teeth, but yeah, things happened then. Yeah, we're still in the braces journey. That is it for Cynthia Untamed, my braces update. If you have any questions, any comments, feel free to leave that in the comment box below. Or you can send me a DM on Instagram at CynthiaOprah_Nyongesa or on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah. I will be available to respond on any issues that I understand when it comes to dental hygiene. I really think dental hygiene is very, very important.